Okay, we have 3B.4 notes. So like the last video, I would pause this, copy all that down first because it'll make the marking easier. To start, we'll go with trapezoids, so one set of opposite sides are parallel, that obviously being this side and this side. Consecutive angles are supplementary, so A plus D equals 180 and B plus C equals 180. Now that does not mean that D and C are the same and A and B are the same, it just means they add up to 180. So the A and B would be different numbers, D and C would be different numbers. So on this one, all four would be different. Then it has the mid segment, which we'll go over later. So basically you take is the value of the bases. So for this, you would do top plus bottom divided by 2, which would give you the middle. So that's how all of your equations for mid segment are going to be set up. So you'll want to remember that for later. Okay, isosceles trapezoid. So same as the other one. Top is parallel to the bottom. Diagonals are congruent, so that would be these two. They also, so just know that they are congruent. So AB is congruent to, no, sorry, screwed that up. AC is congruent to BD, and so the diagonals are congruent. They're not necessarily bisected on this one, so we're not going to mark anything, but the diagonals are congruent to each other. And then if it's isosceles, that means that BC is congruent to AD, and then alternative angles are supplementary. So D and A are supplementary, and then B and C are supplementary. Also in this case, like it says here, A is the same as B, D is the same as C. So if you find one, you find the other. Okay, then on the test, you'll have to copy those down. So if you copied those down, they would look like that. And these are starred because they should appear on the test. So you have a total of 6 now, you know. Rhombus, rectangle, square, parallelogram, trapezoid, isosceles trapezoid. You know 6, 2 will be on the test that you have to redraw. Okay, so we have these examples now. So to find K, so L and K are obviously not the same, but they do add up to 180. So you could do 180 minus 51 to find out that K is 129. Same idea with J and M. So 180 minus 87, which would give you 93. Now notice on this that M and L, so 93 plus 51 adds up to 144, which is nothing. So that's no help. The top adds up to another number that doesn't help. So only the angles, one from the top, one from the bottom, would add up to 180. There's no relationship other than that. Okay, so similar with number 2, A goes with D. So again, it doesn't mean equal, it just means that those two are going to add up to 180. So 180 minus 62, so D is 118. Similar idea with B and C. 180 minus 31 to give you 149 for C. Okay, 3. Again, if they are consecutive, they're going to be on 180. Remember, it only goes one way. So this would be 8x plus 6 plus 54 equals 180. 8x plus 60 equals 180. You subtract the 60. 8x equals 120. So x equals 15. Now the property used, my classes are getting confused by this as well, so they want to say something that ends in the word property. It just means, how do you know that those equal 180? And you could say that consecutive angles are supplementary. Number 4, looking at number 4, it's the exact same property. Consecutive angles are supplementary. So 12x plus 3 plus 7x minus 13 equals 180. 19x minus 10 equals 180. And this comes just from combining like terms on the left here. You add 10, 19x equals 190, so x equals 10. But they don't want x, they want r, so we plug it in there. 7 times 10 minus 13 would give us 57 for a final answer for that question. Okay, number 5. So the isosceles sides need to come into play. So if this is 47, W also 47. And then we need to remember that X and Y will add up to 180. So 180 minus 47, which would give us 133 for Y. And then if Y is 133, hopefully we also know that Z would also be 133 because those are the same. So number 6. So didn't really necessarily spell this out. So W is the same as X. Z is the same as Y. So that means since W and Y are not the same, you have the good guess that they would add up to 180. So property, I would just recommend going back through what you did. So if it adds up to 180, you should know that that means something is supplementary. Okay, what are those? Those are angles. So some kind of angles are supplementary. Then you think, well, how are those angles related? They're on opposite sides, so you could say alternate angles are supplementary. And even if you said opposite angles are supplementary, that would be good enough as well to get all the points. So combine like terms again, you get 16x plus 4 equals 180, minus 4, 16x equals 176, so x is 11. But they want z, which doesn't have an equation, so we actually need to go over here to y. So 6 times 11 minus 1, so 66 minus 1 gives us a final answer of 65. Okay, so last one for the notes. We have 2 questions after this, so don't stop the video after this, watch till the end. So we have MP, let's use a different color actually. NO, PN, and MO. So they're giving you 4 equations. You need to figure out which ones correspond to which. So MP would be the same as NO. Nine x plus 8. So how do you know that those are the same? Because on this, you would know that opposite, those are sides. And then if you make them equal each other, you know that they have to be congruent. Okay, now for the other one, Pn, hopefully you know that Pn is also the same as MO. So you set them equal to each other. So again, you need to say something are congruent. Whoops. Get that out of the way. So those are not sides, those are not angles, those are diagonals. So whenever you're doing the properties, you need to list sides, angles, or diagonals. One of those 3 needs to come into play, and typically it's only 1 per property, so you shouldn't be using more than 1 of those words. Okay, let's solve the x's now. So minus 9 plus 13, 7x equals 21, x equals 3. To the y's, minus 5y plus 37, so 56 equals 7y, so y equals 8. Okay, so for this, you need to have your homework. This is not something that was on the notes, and you're going to want to put a star next to this and pay close attention because this is a guarantee question on the test. And I personally don't think these are that hard, especially if you're good with midpoint. So guaranteed to be on the test, so pay attention, make sure you know what you're doing because this is the only time you're going to see this. So this is a mid-segment, like we talked about earlier. Mid-segment, which sounds just what it looks like, is a segment in the middle. So you can think about this like midpoint. So 27 is small, the mid-segment's bigger, but it's less than 39. So just like I wrote on the very first page, you do 27 plus 39 divided by 2. That would give us 66 divided by 2, so that mid-segment is 33. So it's not hard, you just have to know how to do it. So if they give you a top and bottom, add them up, set it equal to the middle. Okay, and then jump over to 10. So what properties you use? You can just say not mid-segment, because then you're going to sound dumb. How about mid-segment? That sounds better. So use mid-segment. So again, you add the top and bottom. So 2x plus 15 plus 6x minus 37 divided by 2 equals 3x plus 5. Before you do anything, you need to combine the top, the numerator. So that would be 8x minus 22 over 2 equals 3x plus 5. Okay, now you have a decision to make. You can either divide this by 2, or you could do the opposite of dividing by 2 and double the right side. Don't do both. You just need to pick. So if you divide it out, you'd get 4x minus 11 equals 3x plus 5. If you multiplied it, you would get 8x minus 22 equals 6x plus 10. Doesn't matter which way you want to do it, just which way you feel more confident and more comfortable with. So either way, minus 3x plus 11 minus 6x plus 22. So this would get 2x equals 32. In both cases, x equals 16. So again, you just need to make a personal preference, which one you want. But we aren't done. They want WV. So we're going to plug it in right here. 3 times 16 plus 5 to give us 53. So if you can do number 10, there's no reason why you should miss the question on the test. This is as difficult as these could possibly get. So if you can do 10, you can do the one on the test without